What's up, folks? It is once again the Doctor, Dr. Remy LeBeau, coming at you from the X Lair, your favorite lair full of X-Men statues, intended to help you cure your unwavering desire of too many X-Men statues and not enough time. This is my goal here is to give you as much X-Men action as possible without, you know, actually giving you anything. Because they're all mine. They're mine. You're not getting them. Uh, so today's treatment, as it were, is Mr. Sculpt, as produced by Bowen Designs, in his astonishing X-Men costume. Let's check out some information on this statue, shall we? Okay, so this is number 19 of 700. There's 700 of these. This was produced in 2011, sculpted by Kuram Alavi. Kuram Alavi actually sculpted this digitally, and this is one of 3 versions of this statue that he sculpted. The other 2 are the original costume version of Cyclops in his original outfit as he originally appeared in X-Men #1 in the 60s. And the other one is the X Factor Cyclops statue, which was maybe released actually right after this one, and is very similar but has like a slightly different pose. And actually, that's the case with the original costume too. So there's 3 of these. They all have the same base, but the statues are obviously different and they're posed in a different way. And the bases are also painted differently. This is the first time that Bowen used this particular base, which is interesting because it's kind of got the original X base that he always used, and then it extends out to his foot, and there's like wires and stuff in between the extension and the actual X base, kind of representing the setting of maybe like the Danger Room or something. So it's a really cool sort of different design to the X base that allows a statue to be posed in a more like split-legged position, and so that's what you're seeing here. It's very cool. It's the same base that was used with the Warpath statue that I've posted. Actually, the first post on my blog that is of the modern Warpath statue produced by Bowen Designs that was actually released this year. So Bowen likes the base. They're using it, and I like it. I like that they're mixing things up, but still kind of remaining with the original X base design. All right, let me give him a spin here. You can see there. I think what's really great about this statue, beyond it just being like a great statue of Cyclops and a great version of Cyclops, which is the Astonishing version, is like the metallic paint on it. It really makes it pop. Like, the light hits it really nicely, and just it really sort of brings out all the detail in the sculpt, like the musculature of the body, the anatomy, and just sort of like the larger than life quality of this costume, representing Cyclops in a very interesting time, actually. So this is the costume that was introduced when Joss Whedon, who created Buffy and Angel, who wrote the X-Men for a while, and then now has gone on to create one of the most amazing comic book movies to ever be produced, the Avengers. He actually decided to write the X-Men for a while, and so the book that he wrote was called Astonishing X-Men, and in it, actually, oh, here you can see that's actually the cover back there. It sort of introduced Cyclops in a different, obviously in a different costume, as well as in a different team, which was made up of Emma Frost, Beast, who became Cat Beast at the time because he had his secondary mutation, Kitty Pryde, and Wolverine. And Wolverine kind of got somewhat of a revamp as well. And like 2 or 3 issues into it, then Colossus was actually brought back to life after having died, saving the mutant population from the legacy virus. he was actually brought back to life, I think via a cloning mechanism or something. So and then Joss Whedon sort of wrote this for I think like 25 issues or something, somewhere along those lines, and it was actually a very cool run, and it was very unique and different from some of the stuff that had already been done, and a lot of the X-Men fans like really feel like it's one of the most significant sort of periods for the X-Men, which is really cool because at that point the X-Men have already been around for almost 40 years, or 40 years. So for Joss Whedon to come in and kind of do something different and unique and exciting, it just again is a testament to how great of a fanboy he is, how important it is for a fanboy to be writing and these characters and producing material based on these characters, and how happy that makes the fans. I'm exceptionally happy. I actually was not reading comics at the time that Joss Whedon did this, which is interesting because I was a huge fan of his from Buffy and Angel. Like Buffy and Angel were like can't miss uh, shows when they were first airing for me, and so I was, I was in with Joss Whedon. Like he got me then. I was a fan of his. So when I heard that this was happening, I actually did consider. I had stopped reading comics probably for 5 years at that point. I had considered going back, but I didn't because there were reasons that stopped me from reading comics, and I kind of was holding on to those reasons. Unfortunately, I finally let go of them. And then when I did let go of them, I went back and I read everything, and it's great. And actually, what's another very cool thing about the Astonishing X-Men run is that there have been like motion comics made, which is kind of like animation, but not really, where they take the panels from the comics and they kind of animate them so that they're actually moving, and they actually get voice actors to voice it. So you can actually find like the Astonishing X-Men, at least the first couple of story arcs, in this motion comic um, version. It's probably on Blu-ray or something, which is very cool. So, and I'm pretty sure Joss Whedon was involved with that as well. So that's awesome. I love everything that went on with Joss Whedon and the X-Men, and I wish he would come back, but obviously another team has got his attention right now. I don't think he'll come back to the X-Men. It would be really cool if Marvel got back the film rights to the X-Men, and Joss Whedon did an X-Men movie, but a fanboy can dream, can't he? Anyway, this is a really great statue. As I already said, the paint job is really awesome, and the paint job actually makes for like a really great sort of like photography subject. So you can see you can see it in the video, but in the images that I posted, like I remember when I first got this statue when it was first released, and I took some photos of it, and I thought, wow, I took some really great photos. And now when I took photos again, I realized, oh man, this statue is just really photogenic. It's just a really photogenic statue. It has nothing to do with my talents as a photographer. It's just it it looks great on camera. If you light it properly and you don't take flash photography of it, it looks fantastic. So if you look at some of the photos I took, it couldn't help but look great. Um, and really, it's not just the metallic paint. It's also the sculpt. The sculpt itself is really fantastic. The sculpt on the other two variants is really fantastic as well. Kuram Alavi did a really nice job with it digitally, and it came out really great in actual once it was printed and now in 3 dimensions. It's just a really great um, sort of blank canvas, that you can then build like different character versions of on. And all three of them look great. This one is probably the best of the three, just because of the metallic paint, and the costume is really interesting. Like at first, I kind of didn't like it too much for some reason. I think it was just kind of like me holding on too much like nostalgic inclinations to just want to sort of compartmentalize the character designs into the period that I grew up reading. And then once I let go of that, I did kind of fall in love with this design. And then this design kind of evolved into like an amalgam of this and like kind of the Jim Lee one, and it had like an X emblem here, and it was the one that he wore past Astonishing to the point, where the X-Men started their little civilization on Utopia, in which there were only less than 200 mutants that were trying to survive. So he kind of started this army in a civilization on what was once Asteroid M that was like raised up out of San Francisco Harbor to become like an island nation. And it was there that he was basically the president of this mutant civilization, and he kind of had a variation of this outfit that kind of made him like a general sort of kind of gave him kind of like a general quality. Um, and now actually with the newest design, like post AVX, right now it's May of 2013, so AVX happened last year, and now we have like Marvel now, where all this crazy stuff is happening, and you have the all new X-Men and Uncanny X-Men, which are written by Brian Michael Bendis, who is sort of like, he's taking the X-Men into a completely different direction, which is really nice. Cyclops has a new costume, and it's very similar to this. It's like a variant of this. So it's cool. Obviously, they appreciated the design. I think Chris Bacalo might have designed it. Like, he was the artist on at least the first story arc in Uncanny X-Men Volume 3, where it's sort of like, I'm not going to go into it, but he designed it, and it's a variant on this, and it looks very cool. So this is obviously like revered as like a sort of a canonical design of Cyclops, which makes sense because again, like I said, this was a very significant period in the X-Men because Joss Whedon got involved. Joss Whedon rocks. All right, so as I said, the sculpt is very nice and the paint job is very nice. Everything's really nice about it. The thing about this statue is that it didn't sell too well, and the reason why is because it's modern. And like I've said in previous videos, modern designs, like reflecting a character design of like the last 10 years or something, generally have more fans that are younger than older fans, and younger fans tend to have less money. So when they have less money, there's less demand. And so it took a little longer for this guy to be scooped up. I don't know what the state of him is now as far as like supply. It might still be easy to find him, it might not. Plus there's like 4 other Cyclops statues of Cyclops available by Bowen Designs. And now there's also one by Kotobukiya, and Sideshow created their premium format figures. So there's more Cyclops statues out there, so that might have also sort of played into why this statue didn't become so popular initially. But I know that as fans that are fans of this look of Cyclops and are fans of Cyclops get older and are able to afford this statue, that they're going to start scooping it up, and eventually this is going to be hard to find because it's really a nice statue. It's a great statue, in fact. It looks fantastic. It just screams like Cyclops in astonishing form, and it just looks great in the display. It just looks great. I mean, I really don't have any complaints about it at all. So the costume is great. I love the trim that they use, which is kind of like this gold trim. Looks fantastic. Sculpted really nicely on, like I already said, a very nicely, well detailed physique, which was done digitally. The belt with the X, super nice. Just everything about it. And I think what I really like a lot is the visor as well. I love the visor. It's kind of like silver with like the red slit, and the slit is big enough that it just looks great. Like everything about it is great. It's a great looking statue. If you like this period of the X-Men, it's definitely something to get. And again, there's probably enough of them out there still where it's not going to be that expensive to get right now in 2013. 2018, that might be a different story. 2023, definitely a different story, without a doubt. I currently have them displayed with like Emma Frost, of course, modern Emma Frost. Like, obviously they go hand in hand together, so he displays really well with her. I'm not really trying to do the Astonishing set. I'm more trying to do like a modern set. So I have like X-Force below him, my X-Force statues, and then I've actually posted a modern display snapshot on my blog. So if you're interested in seeing what my modern display, you can check that out on my blog and see all the modern statues that I have together. So I'm just kind of going for like character designs that are like post like 2000 somewhat, like just kind of putting them all together, because you can't. I mean, it would just require a lot of custom work to be able to create a lot of the characters to actually complete teams and sets for like post 2000 era designs, because there just haven't been enough produced, and I'm not willing to put in that much effort. I'm just picking and choosing the ones I like. Like I didn't get Kitty, Shadowcat, Kitty Pride. I did actually. I got her, but I got rid of her. I didn't like her too much. I don't know. Didn't like her too much. Don't I really like Kitty Pride. Never, never been a huge fan of Kitty Pride. I think it has to do with the fact that she just wasn't part of the X-Men. She was part of Excalibur when I started reading comics, so never really got that connected with her. But I mean, if other people produce, or if Bone Designs produces another Kitty Pryde statue, but more in a museum pose, I might consider getting her. Let me just give him one last twirl here, so you see how impressive Mr. Sculpt Summers is. He looks great. It's a great looking statue. If you're on the fence about it, get off, get it. There's nothing wrong with it. It looks fantastic. People that don't have it and want it, don't have it. People, older collectors obviously don't want it too much. So if you're into it, like it's definitely the time now to kind of like ease your way into getting it. It's worth it. All right, folks, that is it for this modern Cyclops, astonishing Cyclops introduction. As always, thank you for checking out all my stuff. My blog is X-Men Statues of Future Past.blogspot.com. My YouTube channel is Dr. Remy LeBeau's X-Lair. And as always, X in the box, because ain't nobody checking me. I'll catch you all very soon. Thank you, and take care. Bye-bye.